We are live. Thank you for tuning in. You're watching Banter City, and in this video, I want to talk about the crypto distribution problem. Suppose if you are starting a new crypto project, suppose it's a coin, suppose you're creating it as money. So you want to make sure that you distribute it democratically, and make sure the distribution is fair enough. It's not concentrated in the hands of a few whales, so that there is no abnormal price action, pump and dump initially, which will lend credibility to your project in the long term. So distribution has often been a riddle in cryptocurrencies, and I don't think any project has solved it properly. Let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's distribution, or you could say emission or coin issuance, is done based on the mining block rewards every 10 minutes, and this form of distribution was amazing for early investors or early miners who were running nodes. Satoshi bagged more than 1 million coins. So, and similarly, with every 4 years, the block halving reduces the rewards. So, the early adopters or the early miners, the early backers, really were able to gobble some cheap coins, and it was lottery for them. But as we're approaching 2022, or say the next block halving in 2024, the block reward's going to be cut down to, I think it's 3.125 BTC, which is very less compared to what's given to initial supporters. And the funny thing is, as years have gone by, the adoption has increased, and early adopters have got a good bunch of Bitcoins, but the laggards won't be able to. It's kind of like they have to overpay to get even a fraction of Bitcoin. So, and if you look at other crypto projects, other cool projects like XRP and XLM, these guys are not doing any better. The companies that, or the foundations that run this project have almost taken a lion's share of the distribution. More than 50% is owned by Ripple Labs, and Stellar Foundation, even though it's a non-profit, it owns a major chunk of the project, major chunk of the distribution. So, to finance your day-to-day operation, they would have to dump it on retailers, causing a price suppression. And similarly, cool projects, good smart contract platforms like Algorand and Avalanche, these platforms also have issued a large amount of tokens to early investors who are generally the VCs. So really, this is, it's great if you're a company, but if you're planning to be a decentralized cryptocurrency project, issuing coins to VCs is a strict no-no, because that's not in the spirit of crypto. It's supposed to be helping common people. But again, common people still pile onto these VC-backed tokens as if they were really democratic and good for, plebs like us. So in my hunt for coins with fair distribution, I haven't found any until I stumbled across Zero-Zed. Don't ask me where Zero-Zed is in coin market cap rankings, because I don't know. I frankly don't know. But it truly solves the problem of distribution, and uses an issuance, a coin emission, based on diffusion of innovations model. Diffusion of innovation curve. Let's look at it first. All right, this is diffusion of innovations curve, and as you can see, any technology in the beginning, innovators. Okay, it's loading. Okay, here we go. The innovators are the first, and then the early adopters, and then the early majority, and then the laggards. So this is how technology adoption happens. So currently, or you could say Bitcoin follows, the model followed by Bitcoin is somewhat like this. The early adopters are given higher rewards, whereas due to block halving, the reward reduces, and as adoption peaks, there's very little reward. The incentive is very low, which is a failure because it has led to a massive concentration of BTC among whales, which explains the volatile price movement. The super high volatility is because wealth is concentrated, or you could say Bitcoin is concentrated in the hands of a few whales, and it's hard to know because even though Glassnodes had released a report, or you could say allocation graph, but it's hard to know because I could own 1 million Bitcoins and distribute it across hundreds of wallets of 100,000 or say 10,000 each, and you won't know because it's pseudonymous and it's hard to know who owns which wallet address. So this is a massive failure, and we're paying the fruit of that because of this, thanks to this high volatility, this roller coaster ride. So how do you achieve successful diffusion? You basically follow this issuance model where early adopters are issued less, and the emission rate or the inflation rate increases as years go by. So you make sure as the technology adoption increases, you ramp up the inflation, and thereby more hands get more of the coins, and also it'll be like a more competitive environment. So Zero-Zed uses script, or you could say it's a fork of Litecoin, so it uses script, and it's a proof of work coin, of course. So as you can see here, all 5 processes must occur for the technology to attain market saturation. Failed diffusion merely implies 100% adoption never attained before succumbing to technical obsolescence. So, as we just described, this is the fairest distribution method for cryptocurrency, because the block reward, or you could say the reward or the incentive, is higher only after a significant level of adoption threshold is reached, and due to which there will be competition among miners, and also the demand will be somewhat stabilized, making sure that thereby preventing violent swings in price. Of course, there's going to be volatility, but I expect that we won't see to the levels we see with Bitcoin. But unfortunately, this project hasn't taken off quite well. But yeah, you could always visit the website Zero-Zed.com to learn more and maybe support the project. I stumbled across this project as I got into a Twitter exchange with their founder. And so their founder, Caleb Michael Smith, replied to one of my tweets criticizing Bitcoin's incentive structure, and that's when we started talking about this. And it was really good to learn about this, because as a supporter of Nano, even Nano has this distribution problem, the problem of whales owning a large proportion of supply because of Nano's rushed distribution, because Nano was distributed using a capture farming system, and the entire supply was distributed in one go. So there is a problem of distribution there as well. So let me leave you with a piece, or you could say quote, from this website before I sign off. Less than 1% of the world's population has acquired any cryptocurrency at all. 80% of Bitcoin supply has already been mined, with the remaining 20% to take the next 100 years to produce, the bulk of which will be exhausted by 2033. So as you can see, the masses will have to fight for very little of the supply. Will have to basically scrape for it. So it's really recreating the fiat system. The early backers and the central bankers taking much of the supply or power, and the rest, the masses, are still going to struggle. So Bitcoin is not really fixing anything. It's just recreating the existing capitalist fiat system. We need a better system. I don't know if it's going to be Zero-Zed or not, but really this was a fascinating solution to the problem of issuance of currencies. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, cheers and goodbye.